Hey guys, welcome back to Challenge Zone 2. I'm Artosis next to Crip, and we just saw the defending champion Brian Kibler eliminated 3-0 by the Hunter of Silent
Eliminated.
Storm.
Yeah. We will have a Silent Storm versus the winner of our upcoming match on day 2 tomorrow.
Mhm.
The upcoming match, though, Kolento versus Eloise. What do you think?
I'm very interested to see Kolento in this format, how well he's going to do. He's known as like
Quite
probably
well
the
done.
best
Yeah.
deck builder ever. Like he's made a
Mhm.
lot of the most broken decks out there, and just such a fantastic player. I like a ridiculous win rate. Is such a talent, right? So,
Yeah. Kolento is,
uh,
is well known as one of the best players in the game in terms of
yeah,
execution, but it's true, he is also, I don't know if I'd say the best deck builder, but he's definitely one of the names that comes to mind
yeah.
for the title. Yeah.
He's pioneered a lot of strong stuff.
He
So,
has.
I
He
mean,
has.
he's definitely like I think when you thought up Challenge Zone, he has to be one of the people you're like, I want to see how this guy does.
That's true.
In a very constrained amount of time with very strange rules, and we get to do
That's
that.
true.
So that's going to be
Right.
fun, and see if he can work his magic very quickly.
Yeah, he's up against Eloise. Eloise, she's been playing Hearthstone for quite some time, but she's come to, the public scene a little bit more recently, from her joining Tempo Storm and doing quite well recently in the tournament formats. So this is a very different tournament format, and we'll get to see if she is up to the deck building task. Speaking of which, why don't we get into that? We will get to see the players build the decks. This is sped up 5 times. They had 35 minutes, and if you're just tuning in, the challenge this time around is the true Highlander, as you can see on stream there, right under the Amazon App Store. Yep, yep.
That's
It's
right.
right under there.
Only one copy of a card allowed amongst 3 decks, and it's very interesting. I see Eloise actually the first player that we're going to see agree with what I originally thought. Where I'm like, well, I think I'd have to build Warlock decks, but Kolento immediately went into Shaman, which is like this guy's brain just works very differently than mine, Grip.
Okay, yeah. I am curious to see how well Warlock is going to perform. I do agree that it's one of the strongest, just conceptually. It seems like it would be one of the
Yeah,
strongest.
yeah,
But at the same time, right now, I thought Mage would be the strongest, and Mage is the only one to lose games. So
yeah.
we'll have to
Well,
see how it plays out.
yeah, I'm very interested to see why Kolento is like, well, I'll just go ahead and do Shaman instantly. He is someone that even during times where Shaman has seemed like it might be a bit underpowered in the tournament scene, has sometimes brought Shaman decks, even with weird like a reincarnate in it or something like that
Yeah, it's
for
funny you
important
mentioned that.
matches. So
That's exactly the deck he was building there. He's building like a control reincarnate shaman,
yeah,
and he has had a lot of success with that specific deck. As you mentioned, specifically in a time when shaman was considered not that great.
yeah. So it's kind of cool. I guess there is a big variety of cool Shaman spells that he can put in here, and this, I think this is something we're going to see
X,
over and over, by the way, is Mech.
X,
Yeah. It
X.
seems like everyone has realized, like, oh, Mech is kind of like this movable set of cards that work well together. So
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
see
I
a
mean,
lot of that.
if you guys try this at home, and I suggest you should. I mean, why don't you guys go ahead and try the true Highlander Challenge format, even after seeing the tournament.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're still going to struggle to come up with good decks. Mechs are just good cards by themselves. They're going to be cards that you inevitably want to use anyway. And if you pull them together, you have like a deck theme that can probably win on its own, which is kind of
Yeah.
the real challenge part of Challegnestone too.
Yeah, and the more I think about it and like watch everyone build decks, I'm like, oh, you know what? We had a set of minions that could make an aggro deck before Mech came out. Then Mech came out, and then there was Mech aggro. So it's like,
Twice as many.
yeah, it's now we kind of have 2 aggro decks for kind of whatever class you really want to use with it,
Hmm.
which leaves us with like a more controlling version, and that's kind of what we've been seeing. Although I guess we did see the Murloc deck, which is a whole nother set of minions before.
Yeah. Well, right now from Eloise, we saw her build like one very good aggressive deck and one very good control deck. And I think this is the point where people will start to struggle. It's like, all right, sick. First deck, awesome. Second deck, awesome. Third deck, and you realize you
Yeah.
have like nothing to work with.
Hmm.
So this is going to be really the challenge. See, here she takes some time, maybe take out some of the good cards from the other decks because
Yeah.
it's not last hero standing. If this was last hero standing, you could absolutely do this. You could make one super powerful deck, one pretty powerful deck, and one deck that would have
Hmm.
basically vanilla garbage. Um,
Yeah.
but it being conquest, that deck is not going to be able to win at all. So you can't really have that kind of mindset for this.
Yeah, totally. I think that something it would just be kind of like regular tournaments where it's like, okay, like a face hunter, like I went 2-0 with that, and then I cleaned up with a control hunter or something. But uh, this definitely, like, if it wasn't this format specifically, I think that this challenge stone would actually suck. But this actually makes it so awesome that we have to see, like, okay, now win with this weird thing that you made here, and I'm
Yep.
I'm interested to see what these things that Kolento is gonna make. Like, it seems like he's gonna have a mech one. It seems like, obviously that'll be a very aggro one, and then he has that more controlling reincarnate type of thing.
I feel like Kalento's like trying to use some Jedi mind tricks on me right now.
Yeah. it.
He's kind of got that like focused look where you only see the pupils moving. It's pretty interesting at 5x.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like Eloise has kind of made work of some kind of second aggressive deck.
Hmm.
A lot of the
Too surprised to see
fine-tuning
that.
happens in these last few moments. It's like, remove a good card from there. Does that break the deck? I don't know. Is this, evened out now?
Mm.
That's really why we had to go to 35 minutes this time. I believe the last challenge zone was 20 minutes, so it's a pretty big step up from that. But
Yeah.
we really wanted to see how far we could take um, the difficulty setting, basically. But with the difficulty, we got to give them adequate time to
Mm.
approach it properly and calmly, let's say.
Yeah. Well, if it was only 20 minutes, I think everyone would have a whole bunch of the penalty
Salty
cards in their
dogs
decks.
and
Yeah. There'd
Stormlight
be
Commandos.
it would actually be it would just be salty dogs running into each other. That's what it would be like.
Yeah.
So I'm quite glad that they have that extra amount of time. I like some of these things that I'm seeing. Like, Eloise actually has, for instance, like the Blingtron plus Harrison combo in there. It's something that you
Yeah,
won't be able
why
to
not?
fit into a lot of decks, but you're like, you know what? That's not terrible. Why not throw
Hmm.
that into one of these decks when you have so few options left over?
Yeah. Oh man, Wind Speaker. Oh man, that's gonna be so cool. It's one of those cards that like blows people away the first time you see him because it's a card nobody ever remembers until you
Yeah.
die, you know?
Yeah. Has a lot of burst in there.
Hmm. Also, another thing, I feel like the shaman can usually rely on hero power in the first few turns. So with the format already being very deceptive when it's played, I think shaman might have an even greater deception factor because of that.
Because of, oh, okay, yeah, because
Like
the
your
early
openers
tournaments
are
you think
mostly
they're,
the same. Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Well, I wonder if we'll see anything absolutely wild, like a totem-based deck in there. I don't think we did really, but
Um,
it
yeah.
seems like they both have kind of a couple aggro decks.
Yeah, from
So,
from what I have here, Kalento's playing a Death Rattle control
mhm.
shaman, of course, aggro mech shaman, and Murloc spell heavy shaman, while Eloise is doing a zoo aggro warlock, a zoo mech-ish warlock, and a demon handlock. I think this is your dream. I think you were
that's
going like,
that's what I was
yeah,
going more towards that for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
two aggro and a handlock. That's
yeah.
or a demon handlock. That's
Well,
that's really what my brain has been fixated on. So based on my brain, she should be taking out Kolento, but he's a lot smarter than me at this. So we'll
we'll
see.
have to see. Before we get into the games, I did get a chance to talk to the players about their impressions of how they did. Um, right after this deck building stage. So why don't we go to that one? Why don't we see what their take is on the tournament and their position in it. So here we are with Kolento. So you're known as one of the greatest deck builders. People like to play your decks. This is not exactly the type of format where people are going to copy your decks, though. But how did you feel about it? What did you think of the challenge, and how did you approach it?
And challenge is kind of interesting from us from one side. From another side, it's somewhat an arena. You have
Somewhat.
like, I mean, you can just make a good synergy-based decks normally with if you can put only one copy and you can duplicate it and you have same classes. Basically, it's like minions battle and legendary battle. So you can put as many legendaries if you want, just that you can't copy them.
Yeah, I think that is how this is going to play out. It seems you have a lot of very aggressive decks. I think your decks kind of actually match the type of arena drafting these days. It's very tempo-oriented and highly based around 2-drops, which it seems you have quite a lot of in all of your decks. How did you distribute the cards? Did you try to weigh a few decks, or did you try to balance them to be as good as one another?
Oh, I think in this format, the fact that I play constructed so much bited me a bit, because I tried to get some synergy with my cards, and I probably should just concentrate on getting as valuable minions as possible. I think my decks are pretty good.
Yeah, I think your decks are pretty good.
Tried to distribute them like fairly even. First two decks I made, they're probably my stronger decks, and third one is kind of a weak spot. But since it's not a conquest format,
it is the conquest format.
Oh, sorry, it's a conquest format, yeah, and every deck should have a win at least once. I think all my decks can take a win.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna play a weaker deck, at least you want it to be an aggressive one, because I think most people are playing mid-range E type of decks in general. So if you are playing an aggressive deck, you can just maybe steal a win from them drawing badly. But you do have a little bit of a mistake in your third deck, your weaker deck, with the double Cold Light Seer. We are going to have to take those out and put in some Salty Dogs. Do you think that's a big hit for the deck? It is a Murloc deck, but there's a lot of non.
Which card I want to put from the list, or it should be Salty Dog.
Salty Dog.
Okay, I mean it's not a bad card. 7 power. In my last deck, I made mistake in it, kind of aggressive. So Salty Dog played when you have a board control can probably win the game.
Yeah, you'll have to take out both Cold Light Seers for 2 Salty Dogs.
Oh, boss?
Both.
I mean, okay. I don't like Morlocks anyway.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the lineup, you'll have to play Eloise first. How do you feel about your first matchup, and maybe how do you feel about the tournament as a whole? You think you're going to take this down?
I don't know. I'm not sure about my last deck. First are pretty good. I probably lose like 0-3 is my last deck sometime. I mean, maybe when the time will come.
Okay. Do you have an opponent you maybe think is going to do really well in this type of format? You know, maybe one of them plays more arena or more of a varied format than the rest?
I have no idea. No one, not a single person tried this before, so I don't know how other players will perform.
All right. Well, we'll have to see. I wish you the best of luck, and I am eager to see some Murloc Rampage. And here we are with Eloise. How's it going? You ended up going with Warlock. You were talking about that. What kind of strategy did you take upon this Highlander challenge? Do you think Warlock is the class to go with? We've seen quite a few players pick it already.
Yeah, I think Warlock might be the class that a lot of people would want to pick. I was thinking to pick some kind of class that can counter Warlock, but it's just no good without with only one copy of card in each yeah, you know what I mean. So I just prefer to go with Warlock because it constructs very fast. I can do it in short time. And it's more minion based.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know. So we the strategy is that I don't want to be very late game because I don't think Warlock is very good at late game. Well, the reason why I chose Warlock is what I have talked about, and another reason is that Warlock is a kind of class that is with card draw. And you can
Yeah.
use the yes, you know. And the other class they're bad at card draw with because they can only run one copy for each of their classic cards. So that's the reason I used Warlock, and so I try to run a very fast one with some charge minion, and that is my first deck, and that is the easiest to build. And second one, a mech one. Yeah, it's also not that slow because I don't think Warlock is very good at late game.
Yeah, you
in
have
this
you have
kind of-
3 fast decks. I can see that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the hero power that dominates it, or do you think it's just you know, the card quality? Because Warlock just also has some very good cards.
I think it's because Warlock doesn't rely much on their classic cards. So like my third deck, the mech deck, I think I haven't got any spells in it. It's all minion. So but it's not very slow. So if I don't think aggro decks need so much spell cards, and that is the best part for Warlock. Yes.
All right.
And
How do you think you're gonna do?
yes.
You're gonna have to play against Kolento at the start here. Do you think your chances are good to beat him? Do you think your chances are good to take the tournament?
I think my decks are reasonable, although I think I can do better after I done constructing my decks. But I think I'm not upset with my deck.
Okay.
Yes.
Not upset. Yes to win. Well, best of luck to you. We'll see how you match up against the field, but I'd have to say that I think your decks look very good. I think you have a very good grasp of the challenge, and I think you have a good shot in the tournament. So best of luck to you.
Thank you. You make me feel better now.
All right. Well, pretty cool. Kolento does think it's kind of like Arena a little bit. We'll see if that's how
A
it
little
plays
bit.
out for him.
It is
Well,
a
I
little
mean,
like Arena.
he's very good at doing things like trading minions, so this definitely could favor him, this type of format that's like Arena.